Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Being Guillén here in La Casa de Guillén. Ozzy Guillén, Oni Guillén. Welcome to another show, Being Guillén.
You know, I'm going to start the show off by saying, not because it's a La Vida sweater. This is probably my favorite, most sweater to wear.
Have you ever watched it?
No. Yes, because I have a wife.
Wait a minute, I just saw.
So
By the way, you and your Twitter, you have the worst jokes ever.
No. Wait, I just saw
love this
Twitter.
sweater, and everybody, this is the most comfortable sweater, and I do.
No, I just saw this. I don't know if you guys can see it.
The modeling?
Yeah,
What is that?
that's a beautiful
People modeling the La Vida pictures.
Yeah. I mean, they really have cool gear.
They
like
do.
it. Every time I get this sweater washed by myself or my wife, I make sure I wear it. She tries to sneak it away from me. Production, can we get a sweater for my wife, a size small?
By the way,
Yeah.
it looked better with this guy
What are you
because
trying to show?
they don't have belly like me.
Oh.
I just love it. Sorry.
Let's jump right into the show. We have a lot to cover today. Obviously, we're coming over from the hangover of what was the Hall of Fame induction, non-induction, the back and forth. And the first topic is a couple people, former players, came after Curt Schilling. We'll start off with Mr. Reggie Jackson that said, you using, I think the quote was, because of using your freedom of speech, they snubbed you from Cooperstown. I believe that's the quote. Don't quote me on that. So,
Well,
I give Reggie
coming from I'm the straw.
I'm the straw. But so here's the part, and this is when we're going to get deep into this conversation. Reggie Jackson is right. Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to say the words. I want to say a bad word. ST whatever. I'm not going to say in the show. But I've learned that unless you're going to make money having a voice, of being a comedian, having a podcast, and making that your life, shut the up.
You have when God bless Curt for staying true to himself, and if that's what he believes, and that he's entitled to that. But like Reggie's saying, Curt is very, very vocal, very opinionated, and you do have freedom of speech, but freedom of speech comes with consequences. In this case, the consequences are that he's probably not going to get voted in to the Hall of Fame by the writers. Now, it is possible. He did come out with a letter. He said, take me off the ballot. I'll take my chances with the Veterans Committee. I'll take my chances with the guys that have played the game before. This is a very sensitive subject.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
This is a very sensitive subject because a lot of the things that Curt said in the letter, he basically says, if you didn't see it, he's basically comparing. He's like, I don't want to be judged. I'm being judged with a guy that cheated and another guy that cheated. Basically, he's talking about Barry and talking about Roger. And he's saying, I haven't hit anyone. I didn't do PEDs. I haven't been caught drinking and driving. You guys are judging me on because you guys don't like me as a person and stuff that I've said.
Did you know that he is? They asked 5 players during the Mitchell report to talk about PEDs, and he said
he's the one guy that he can talk against it.
He didn't want to talk for it or against it. He said it's none of my business what other players do. The only player to talk was actually Frank Thomas.
Well, it's one thing about
I didn't know that.
It's when we're talking personal about the subject, a very sensitive subject in this country is the freedom of speech. Yes, like Oni always told me that. I said, Oni, the only way we freedom of speech here because you're not going to jail.
Correct.
Okay, but besides that, this is not a freedom of speech.
But you're wrong. That's a part. Hold on. Hold on. That's where your freedom of speech part comes in. Whatever you say, even if there is a freedom of speech, comes with consequences.
That's what I say. And the consequence is you not please somebody or they disagree with you. You lose job, you lose credibility, you lose everything you can because one part will be with you and another not. That's why I say when you have a opinion or you like to have an opinion, you have a podcast, radio show, TV show, all of a sudden you're a bad guy, you're not welcome to the United States, that people hate you because you got your own opinion. That's wrong. That is very, very wrong. You have to have your own opinion. The thing people believe, what I think is right, what I think is wrong. I might be right, I might be wrong. But right now, last 10 years, they taking opinions very sensitive subject.
Well, only one-sided. They only take one side of the opinion sensitive. This is why the Hall of Fame and the BBW, whatever your name is these days, is full of, you can finish a sentence. There's a name of a man named Kennesaw Mountain Landis For all you baseball historians, I know probably
I've seen 8 men out.
I'm just saying though, most people out there that are baseball fans from the Twitter world, the social media world, the Latinx world, take an E world, new bat flipping, all that. You might not know who Kennesaw Landis is. Kennesaw Landis is the guy that Major League Baseball, after like maybe some 70-something years, decided to remove his name from the MVP because he was an open racist. That's an opinion. I didn't know the man, but common sense, integration happens after the year that Kennesaw Landis passes away. So he passes away the next year out of a coincidence. Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier. Guess who's still in the Hall of Fame and has a plaque there? Kennesaw Landis. So we have convicted drug dealers. You guys can Google whoever player you want. Convicted wife beaters. Guys that have actually put money on games.
DUI.
DUI, everyone has a DUI. Like,
no, everyone.
I'm saying I don't have one, you don't have one, but I'm saying like it's not, but I'm saying it's a. So for the people in the media, this is where the part we're going to the next part of the story is. I've been thinking now, the more and more I think about it, since the Hall of Fame is putting so much pressure on the writers, by the way, who crumbled under the pressure, they should put you on the ballot. If you're on the ballot, you're good to go. Guess what? 2 other sports don't have integrity clauses.
NBA.
Of course they don't.
NBA and football.
And the NFL, they don't have integrity clauses.
Well, basically, because if it did have integrity clauses, it'd be empty.
Correct. So if the Hall of Fame is going to be on their high horse, at this point, the best baseball hitter is not in the Hall of Fame. The best home run hitter is not in the Hall of Fame.
One of the best pitchers.
One of the best pitchers. Well, if Cy Young was around this time, I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame because he's also been known to be.
This is what worries me, and it's very dangerous, the line that we're teetering on. Obviously, now we're living in a day and age that everybody's very, very sensitive, and everybody, is trying to pass judgment on somebody else. If Curt was on the other side of it, supporting what
I said, if Barry Bonds wants to get in March, take a knee, he'll be there. So Kobe Bryant, everyone was crying about him. I know you're a huge Kobe fan.
No, but
hold on. People were hashtagging girl dad and doing all that. He was charged with rape. Yes. Okay, and charged with. He had a good lawyer, so that could have gone either way. We still don't know what happened.
My point is that people are that's what I was getting to, is that people have very selective memory.
Yeah.
So they like one guy and forget about the bad stuff that he's done. But since they don't like one guy personally,
no matter what happened,
they always kill him. They crush him. They have very selective memory. So that is very unfortunate. And like I've always said, writers are human. I don't care who you are. If you have to vote for 10 guys. If it's between
or no one,
if it's there's guys that left ballots blank. I don't see the point of that. If it's between Curt and a guy you like, guess what? Your vote's going to the guy that you like.
But here's the case: Sammy Sosa.
I agree with that.
Okay, Sammy Sosa.
So everyone gets voted on.
Okay, so Sammy Sosa.
If Sammy doesn't get a vote.
Manny has more votes right now.
Manny Ramirez, who got tested, okay. Let me explain something. Barry Bonds never failed
a drug test.
Up to
nobody. He's never failed up to nobody. He just got caught. They caught Balco, and his name was on the list.
Yeah.
Correct.
He never tested positive.
Correct. Manny got popped like A-Rod after Bud Selig and Major League Baseball put the rules in. After. These guys, Barry, Sammy. I mean, if I'm saying
another conspiracy.
I don't get any votes. By the way, Manny Ramirez got votes. Why is Manny Ramirez getting votes?
And Scott Rowland. But here we go. Conspiracy theory for all you baseball fans out there. When the Mitchell Report was created, we don't know if the Mitchell Report, A, is missing pages, because they say that what was leaked was missing pages. 2 teams has 0 members of their teams' names promoted on there. One was Bud Selig's team, Milwaukee Brewers.
Who's a left fielder?
Hold on. He didn't, not in the Mitchell Report.
Ryan Braun.
Yeah.
But that's after the. Were you around in baseball? Mitchell Report.
I know.
I'm just saying that he was.
You know what? I regret I did it because everything.
Well, I'm just saying that like your time frame. So no one in Milwaukee and no one on the Red Sox, because the president of one of the directors on it was on the board of the Red Sox. So 2 teams. That's where the controversy. We think we're controversial now. The next class has Big Papi and A-Rod, and all the Yankee fans when the story was leaked to the New York Times of Big Papi that he had tested positive. That it was hidden, and then A-Rod. Well,
we know the story.
You can watch the movie.
Now next year, there's Big Papi and Alex jump on the ballot. It's Clemens and Bonds last year. Schilling doesn't want to be on the ballot. It's like a big.
Well, the only guy that didn't cheat is not on the ballot. I just feel bad for Sammy because he also didn't test positive, but he's not. He's like trending at like 13%.
Listen, we have people already commenting, Gloria Schwartz, Eddie Cass, there's no place in baseball for racism. Gloria Schwartz, they shouldn't let him in because he's a Trump supporter. I disagree.
Okay, so hold on. So Mariano Rivera cannot get in the Hall of Fame.
Correct.
Mariano Rivera
gave
money, supported him, hung out with him. So that's
Tom Brady.
That's where it gets dangerous.
Tom Brady, who is gonna go into the Super Bowl for the 10th time, everyone loves him.
Jackie Robinson was a Republican.
Tom Brady supported Donald Trump. Why do we, me personally, only Guillén, why do we care what our athletes support politically? I like Cristiano Ronaldo, who has allegations off the field. I like Floyd Mayweather, allegations off the field. I don't care what those guys do off the field. I don't hold them to a high
role model.
Well, I'm just saying when it goes into the Hall of Fame, and again, if you're the Hall of Fame, if you're on the ballot, that means that you've already cleared all the expectations to be on there.
Oh, so we should have in the plaque Kirby Puckett. He's a nice guy, and he was good at baseball. Let's let him in.
If Andrew Jones would have been dead, he would have been in the Hall of Fame already.
Right, but Ty Cobb, all these things. I'm like, I don't understand how now in 2021, it should be reversed. Correct. We should think the other way. Like, we should be so open-minded. Like, hey, that doesn't make him. That stuff that happened in the past, great, but they didn't murder anyone. They didn't do any of those things. I think that these guys, and I don't know Curt personally, but I think people are really, really, really they get so caught up.
So do we think that none of the reporters? So we think that none of. So do we think mathematically that none of the reporters voted for the Republican Party?
Exactly.
So you're saying that all the reporters are Democratic,
right? And then there's guys, there's guys in the Hall of Fame that have had a pass. With whatever president, Reagan, Bush, whatever. That's their personal opinion. Baseball Hall of Fame is for baseball accolades.
I just sent them the text message you sent me. I sent it to one of the biggest writers, or the guy I respect the most, and I showed the list, and he read the list, and he called me. I really don't want to test me, but just in case something get there, he called me to go, well, Ozzy, this is the pass. The pass is what's the pass. I said, no, wait a minute. This guy got convicted and beat the crap out of his wife, and he's on the movies, Beirut. And they said, okay, look, this guy committed, it was racist. It was on the movie.
Selective.
Not like that we don't know. Well, everybody knows, yeah. And then when he told me, he said, well, there's a pass. I said, well, is one guy going to be punishing just because he believes in one thing? And
I honestly think before we jump into another subject, and we have a couple people, Aaron Barnes saying, my thing is let him in, everybody in, there's no angel. And Eddie Cass is saying, Ozzy Sr., you're my spirit animal. Thank you.
That's awesome.
You're my role model. That's awesome.
No, but I mean, but being honest, though, when you're around the game of baseball, you realize really quickly that no one is perfect, okay? And we love, in this country, I think in the world, crucifying human beings for committing a mistake. Like, I watched a Tiger Woods documentary, and I was like, Tiger Woods had consensual sex with a lot of women, and they are crucifying him like he just did something illegal. He didn't. He just cheated on his wife, which like 90% of every person in the United States does.
By the way,
it happens, and vice versa. So women cheat as much as men. Like, look it up. So we love doing that. But
so in your opinion, raise your hand. In your opinion, Curt Schilling should be in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame because of his numbers.
Barry Bonds.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
So see, we all agree that I think that
Pete Rose.
Of course.
I think that they should let.
But you know why I think Pete Rose gets in, and why Barry gets in? If none of this Astros fiasco happened, okay, and after listening to Alex Cora's interview, okay, where Major League Baseball called everyone back except Alex and Carlos Beltran,
which is kind of bush league.
And I definitely know
they don't want to say racist.
And they don't want. By the way, and they don't want to. And now I definitely know for a fact that the Yankees. I want to read that letter because they were probably using it too. The reason that those guys are back in the game and that guy is managing a team. Little AJ Hinch, okay, cheating manager, greatest manager ever by every writer in the world, but he cheated. If he's allowed to go back into baseball because he said sorry for his mistake, I'll put it this much: I enjoyed Barry Bonds going deep more than watching AJ Hinch win the World Series.
Yeah. So I mean, to recap, we believe that. I mean, we personally think that. I mean, the Hall of Fame maybe should open up and say the steroid era is a part of baseball history.
Yeah.
In 100 years from now, people need to go to the Hall of Fame and say this was the steroid era. Just like there was the dead ball era, just like there was the cocaine era in the 80s and all that stuff and greenies. the steroids are an era.
Well, people don't understand what PEDs are. By the way, people think Willie Mays, when they talk about PEDs and they talk about the juice, no one goes to play baseball, okay? Even back in those days, 100% clean. These are not ultra boys. Some guys are taking pills.
But we're saying that let them in and make a thing that says, hey, this was a steroid era. This happened, but there was allegations.
But you know why I think those guys are great? Because I took steroids and I didn't make it.
Tweeting and social media era.
Yeah. Well, you call it the Charbonnet era. There's the soft players. There's an era, for example, where the catcher, I don't consider that catching position that tough because you're protected, like the quarterback. No one can hit you. No one now can break.
Right. So you can't. Don't judge. You know these guys with
like Cal Ripken. If someone breaks his record now, I don't think it's as important because the players are protected more physically.
Yeah.
Cal Ripken, every single time he had a double play, was risking a guy literally killing him because everybody was going after him.
So it's different. So I put more emphasis. So let's make it a era and put these guys in the Hall of Fame because if the numbers are there, they deserve it.
I'm scared. By the way, I'll be honest with you. I'm scared. I'm scared though. Like for me, this is the first time I actually said to be in the Hall of Fame because people have come after me saying you're a racist because you allow what Curt Schilling believes. I said no. I respect what Curt Schilling believes.
You live in a world that you can respect his opinion.
I'm just saying,
and not judge him on being a player because he was an unbelievable. He was a great pitcher, a great pitcher in the postseason. And to get to the second thing, what they were talking about
I have an idea. Stupid idea. How about those guys not a Hall of Fame should be a Hall of Fame, open his own Hall of Fame?
They should money. By the way, these are the same geniuses that kept Fred McGriff, Faust Miniman.
Yeah. Well, I think those guys. I think that what they're realizing now is that they made mistakes.
I'm saying Curt Schilling, him getting out of the ballot. What happened if more guys start doing that? Saying I don't.
That's what they're scared of.
We're seeing right now a crazy time in the world where NBA players decide where they go. Where even the stock market
players are taking control.
Kids are taking over the suits.
Yeah, people are getting smarter.
People are getting smarter. People are like, I know people don't want to talk about revolutions, but people are waking up and going against
the system.
And it's happening. And this is something we can talk about for another topic. When we talk about the union, okay. The union's only as strong as no one crossing the line. Everyone right now is assuming that all the players are happy with Tony Clark. What happened if they go on a strike and three of the best players said, I'm playing? I don't care what this guy says.
Yeah,
he was a soft player, and now he's a soft union rep. I'm playing. He was soft.
Do you know what happened?
Have you seen him in the fights? He was soft.
I went through those strikes, but
you were scared of crossing the picket.
Nobody could. You know why? Because
don't be a scab.
Okay, don't be a scab. Don't afraid how they boom. Hey, that's what we're going to do. What are you going to think? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to explain to you why we're going to do this. This. I'm going to take the blame. I will fight.
Bayo, they're explaining to these guys. Awesome. They have more access today. They're just saying. But I don't know in what explanation, and this is not even in the topics today, is not having an expanded playoffs. They're saying if you have expanded playoffs, more teams are going to go for it. What the players need to realize is no one's getting Jason Worth money. Now they're doing the analytics. What you guys love about analytics? Analytics are the best. They're hurting players. Colomé is getting destroyed by analytics.
Yeah, okay, because they're saying that
you're not worth it.
You don't need to spend this much.
We don't need to spend this much money.
Okay, by the way, I know can you say 50 games because we don't like the analytics. What you guys bring to the table.
Well, I mean that's the new wave of the game with analytics is costing players money.
Just like it's helping. Just like it's helping
analytics.
No, but I'm saying though, but just like it's helping players, okay,
it's hurting them.
It's hurting them. Why? Because now there wasn't. I'll give you an example. The Chicago Cubs just signed a guy, okay, for almost $5 million less, okay, in the same player as Kyle Schwarber. So now they have $5 million. They can use whatever they want.
Before we jump to the next topic, I already said the Nationals.
The Nationals are a sleeper team.
Great
Nationals, Indians. For
great offseason.
Hey, who's our producer right now?
Sean.
Copy this because only be on the sharp every time. He will say, I told you guys.
Well, I don't know if you guys been watching, but if I say it comes through, I think I remember it, and you're getting breaking news, inside information. It doesn't really matter who makes the playoffs because they're all going to make the playoffs this year because of Tony Clark.
I hate it.
I hate that.
I think more teams go and spend.
I don't need to see.
The Mets are going to be left holding the bag.
Okay,
the Mets, the Phillies, somebody's going to be left holding the bag.
I see an 83 win team
but they have to do that because the old system they were tanking.
Yeah,
teams are tanking even in the new system.
Right. So they're saying
if I'm a these guys. Toronto, the only reason Toronto's spending is because they're like, ooh, expanded playoffs.
Right.
We'll be in.
No,
We'll be excited.
I get it. But me as a purist, I'm not a fan of it. But but we'll see more teams in the playoffs that we won't normally see. So
how about the DH route?
Well, that's another dumb. And if you want to see the pitcher hit, know that when you make your lineup, you can have anybody hit in that position.
I don't know why that you just
go National League rules.
You cut Nelson Cruz off from other jobs being in the national. I think it's
stupid. Let's touch this topic. Let's touch this topic real quick because I want to jump into the next one, which is even going to be even better. Ken Griffey Jr., we have to mention it, just got brought in to be a senior advisor to the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Ken Griffey Jr., number one, is a great guy, super cool. He will always be the kid. I'm hoping, though, that he goes in there with Theo and really helps the commissioner, Rob Manfred. And Manfred does not use him as a token boy. What do I mean a token boy? Meaning someone that's there, looks good, smiles, waves his little cap, and then they do whatever they want. I hope that he really goes in there, creates change, makes things happen, and really helps the commissioner to do things that are great for the game. He's involved in diversity, which is something that I think it's a weird topic because they don't play inner city baseball as much as they used to, but there is a lot of kids who are African-American who do get drafted. They just don't make it in the minor leagues. They just don't. The numbers are there. So why? I don't know. But, bring baseball back to the kids to play. That's going to be a huge part. Diversity. Griffey knows the game. He's been around it. He grew up in it. I hope he really helps Mr. Manfred, and he's going to be working close with Theo on revolutionizing the game.
I believe that MLB is doing a good job with trying to connect with younger fans and bringing in a guy like Theo, who's a pretty young guy, a guy like Ken Griffey Jr., also a young guy, connect with those older fans and younger fans.
Well, because nobody knew who Rob Manfred was until he came in. Like no one unless you're a
real baseball guy.
Real baseball
So I think that
these kids know who they are.
Ken Griffey Jr. is going to be working in baseball operations. Basically, how do we make the game better? How do we make it more fun? I think by them bringing in guys like Theo and Ken Griffey Jr., I don't think it hurts because we're trying to grow the game,
and it will help during negotiations with the union.
It will help.
Yes, but let me ask you a question: how are we going to make the play better? We just think we try is we want kids to play the game more.
Yeah, to grow.
Yeah, they're playing it in Latin America. They're just not doing it in the United States.
Okay,
more people play baseball today than they did in the past.
Yes, and the reason is I we live in Chicago. You go down south, Miami, because the only thing I kind of know.
Everybody's played baseball.
But everybody played the game. And now more because it's more Venezuelan, more Latin America.
It's easier to become a better basketball player than it is for you to become a better baseball player.
Because to be a baseball player,
you have to have skill.
You need skill.
You need skill.
In basketball player, you need.
If you're 6'8", 6'9", you got a chance,
and you can dribble. You have a good chance.
You have a good chance.
But the thing is, it's harder to be a baseball player. Why? Because there's a lot of pick. All of a sudden, people say like, "Man, this guy make it to a big league. This guy make it to a big league." But if you look around, let's start. I will talk Junior. Junior want to say, let's start spend money in the Caribbean because there's a lot of great players out there. Let's start playing the money in South. And make those kids start playing the game more often. But man, you know me, you play. When they grow up.
I'm saying when they talk about diversity, though, it's really funny because they talk about black kids in the inner cities in the United States don't play baseball, which I think they do in a point, even though you're competing against basketball and football. But I was like, kids in Curacao are also black. They're just not black Americans.
Dominican,
more black. So I'm saying you can invest. And I hope that they do more. Like, for example, the London series for me.
Oh, God.
Like, it was cool, but, like, no one
in London. The one all the way around the world. What's the name?
That's what they try to do because – but is it as successful as one of a series being played in Mexico?
But I'm saying, even just spending money, like, in the youth. Like, have a tournament.
Australia.
I'm saying, have a tournament in Latin America for youth, like, for kids. Like, show them on TV. Showcase like I love the part of the All-Star game.
They didn't care about the Caribbean series.
Yeah, so bring in so these are all things that I hope that Griffey brings it in. So again, I really hope that I wish him the best. And Griffey's a great guy. He's awesome,
great
cool
baseball,
dude.
Great father, great man. He's a
great family. I hope to see him not too soon be a grandfather because he's going to be an awesome one. But the next topic is one that we discuss in this family. We argue over and over and over again. We're probably going to get controversial here. Punches will not be thrown because we are welcome to everyone's opinion in the Guillén family and the Guillén show. The Mount Rushmore of Latino managers, okay? And I'm going to say this right now. There's one thing being Latino and being born in Latin America, okay? That includes Puerto Rico. even though it's got a little thing with the United States, but that's counted as being born in Latin America. And there's a difference. If I get to become Major League Baseball, a manager one day, and I win a World Series, it will not be the same as this guy winning a World Series. Why? I was born in the States. I went to school in the States. I'm educated in the States. Like Dave Martinez. So for everybody, I'm going to say this right now that's going to throw out Dave Martinez, no, his parents were from Latin America. Dave Martinez, born in Brooklyn. That's why when you look at the stats, okay, on Baseball References, and people throw Edgar Martinez, does not count for Puerto Rico and having a Puerto Rican in because he was born in the United States. A-Rod would be the number 2 Dominican player of all time. He actually is not considered Dominican. He's on the American list. Albert Pujols and Adrian Beltre. So when we come to the managers who were born in Latin America, right off the bat, I go to one name, and I think it's out of respect. Number one, because I think this guy managed way too long in the minor leagues, and I consider him a soft-spoken legend. And he's on my Mount Rushmore, even though he never got the chance to win a World Series. Thank you to the Miami Marlins. Felipe Alou. Why? Because Felipe...
Why thank you to the Miami Marlins?
Because they eliminated him. They whooped them.
But I thought you should say thank you to Mike Scioscia.
Oh, he went to the World Series against Dusty. Dusty was there. Yeah. No, so Felipe Alou, this is sad, by the way. You know that Joe Torre had like a 15-year head start on Felipe on managing? They both retired the same year. Felipe had to go to the minor leagues. Joe Torre got a shot at the big leagues.
I don't think that anyone would have any problem with Felipe Alou being one of the 4 guys on the Mount Rushmore. He is
the Holy Grail.
Right. He is the Holy Grail. And mind you, there were guys before him, the Gomez guys, there were guys before him, but he is the standard as far as like longevity.
Because he managed for a long time. He also was a Latino manager.
And there was no what's it called? Back then it wasn't common.
It wasn't cool.
It wasn't common.
Like now you're like struggling right now, okay? And you want to bring the Latino demographic. You might pull the Latino card.
Yeah. I need a Spanish guy.
We need a Spanish guy.
Now you have the, Montoya.
Yeah, by the way, the Giants, they look like they're like a checklist for like a checkbox. Like,
I don't think
we need to hire an Asian coach.
So
by the way, you had one, by the way, Korean in your 2005. No, yes. But quick. Also the coolest manager ever, because one of the best jokes that I've ever heard in baseball came from Felipe Alou.
Oh, no, I got thousands of jokes.
Talking to Mr. Pujols. Ozzie Guillén was coming up to pinch hit, and I've heard this story, and he said, "Oh my God, this game is taking so long. They're even letting the coaches hit."
I was playing with Baltimore Orioles, and it's hot, and this game is taking for like 7 hours.
Oh my God!
I'm sitting on the bench with Baltimore Orioles, the worst experience I have.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Ray Miller was the manager. Since that day, I see Ray Miller manager. I say, I know I will be managing the big league. And all of a sudden, the Kong pinch hit, 2 out, 1 out. And Ray Miller told Eddie Murray, Ozzie, get a bat. I drive 3 hours to watch the game. All the song I go to hit. I even got a batting glove on. All the song I go hit. And I can hear clear.
When he was with
Pujols, his bench coach.
His bench coach. Oh, they go, oh, pero increíble. I can't believe this. This game is so bad and so long. Even the coaches are going to hit. Bro, I swear to God, I was so pissed. Going to hit. When he said that, I started laughing. I remember Hermanson was a pitcher.
Dustin Hermanson.
They go, oh my God, this is a funny thing I ever hear. I got drunk, me. Shout out, me. But to me, personal, best manager in the game, best manager in Latin America. I don't care. I go back and win another World Series or Alex Cora does. To me, Felipe is the best ever come out of our country. So I don't care about Ozzie Guillén. I don't care about anybody managing the game. Like, obviously.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. He needs to be in. Okay. So, by the way, here's the second part. I also
Hall of Fame don't bring this name.
I also think, by the way, I also think he's a Hall of Famer. And he's a manager because I don't think you or Alex has the manhood to throw out your own son under the bus.
Yeah.
When he was in Montreal, he said, "My third and fourth hitter are hurting our team."
You mean your son?
Yeah.
And the guy said, "Wait, you mean your son?" He said, "My third and fourth hitter." You saw the lineup.
Big rich baseball family. I think his brothers also played in the big leagues.
No, his son.
Yeah, his son. So his son, his legacy.
Felipe Alou for sure on the Mount Rushmore.
Number 2 on the Mount Rushmore list.
I think we just had him up there.
We had him up there with a way skinnier version of Ozzie Guillén Jr.
Yeah. So obviously, he needs no introduction. We get to see him every Friday.
This is about 45 pounds ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. This is 05. And are we talking about Ozzy 45 pounds ago or you?
Me both. I think Canseco was right. Look at this picture. Oh, my God.
So, obviously, Ozzy got into the league. He coached the Marlins, did the Expos thing, was very, very successful with the White Sox. He managed for what, 10, 11 years?
So the reason that I got him in the Mount Rushmore is he got 700 wins. Other than the World Series is Felipe is the only guy with 1,000 wins from the Latin managers. Ozzy had been given the chance to stay in the game. He gets there before he gets there easier.
For sure.
And that's why I think I would want him to go manage again. But competitive-wise, he did really well. Only had a couple seasons. Never lost 100 games, even with the really bad teams. Plus 500. And a guy that was the first Latino manager.
Yeah, obviously ended the World Series off for the White Sox. This guy, I mean, he was the first Latino manager. I mean, this guy's a trivia answer. If you're a trivia answer, you did something right.
Did you ever feel like, man, I'm a Latino manager? Or did you were like, I'm this manager?
I guarantee you didn't think of that.
I don't. I never did.
I remember a story.
You know why?
A guy from like Paraguay was in the World Series
and said, hey, he could be the first.
And we're like, where are you from? And he goes, oh, we're here from Paraguay. We're just covering the story because he could be the first manager and I was like,
I don't know that.
And I said, man, this is a big deal.
Yeah, I was there, and obviously, shagging and doing all the things. Not once did it come through my mind that if my dad wins, he'd be the first.
I didn't know who.
Because I'd be honest with you, I thought there was somebody else before.
No, by the way,
I thought somebody else before.
I find now, obviously, after the World Series is over, the first question is how you feel to be the first Latin American. I'm like, what? Like, very ignorant. People thought I was cocky. People thought I was arrogant. I don't. I like.
Little did they know he was.
Well, you were worried about making Jerry. Your whole time though, you were making sure to put Jerry on the spot so he could take the trophy with you.
Yeah, no.
I want to be. He didn't. I don't think you thought about like Latino manager. Like, I want to be the manager that brings the World Series
to the White Sox.
To the White Sox.
I don't think this is the other part though about how ignorant he is. I don't even think he knew the 88 years.
No, he knew it had been a long time.
I know, but he didn't think. But it wasn't like oh, Chicago. He was just like, I want to win
for Reinsdorf,
for Jerry, for the White Sox,
and I want to be the first guy to win it. And obviously, with the pictures that we're looking at now, is like this was a big deal.
A new trend, by the way, with players all do it with their flags.
This had never happened before. As far as they took the World Series trophy that they won to Venezuela, to our hometown of Caracas, to the stadium that my dad grew up playing.
And to get this clear, by the way, there's a story that I read in a book, which is a fake story. It's funny, like one of those things that you read after the fact. The president of Venezuela, I'm not going to say his name, at the time, I'll say Chavez, never saw the trophy.
No, he never. My dad never.
You know what's funny? It's a funny story. We were in the airport, okay, because I was in charge of the trophy for like a month. And we were in the runway. And actually, the person who paid. Hold on. They were not going to let our flight in. The person who basically financed the trophy going there, because we didn't finance that, went there with there was the people of Polar, which is the opposition in the Venezuelan government. He's a huge baseball fan. And one of the things that we had to do which was really cool, was take it to the United States Embassy. We get to the airport, they wouldn't let us in, and Chavez was about to leave. And they wouldn't let we were in the tarmac, and they wouldn't let us get out.
So you guys were there
at the same time? They wouldn't let him get in.
So one of the military guys says, you better get out of here, because if he knows the trophy's here,
he's going to stay.
He's going to stop and see the trophy and take a picture with it. And we were worried because Polar wanted to have the exclusive of having it there, and when Ernesto Aparicio and this whole thing. And I was like, we can't do this to the Polar people. Like, this is a huge. And it's funny how the whole story came out. Then we went to the embassy. My whole family had to take pictures with it. My grandfather. It was a really cool thing. But we didn't even bring a flag to this. This is a crazy part. We didn't even bring a flag to the field.
They gave it to
a fan threw it.
Yeah,
and said, just hold it, sign it, and bring it back.
It wasn't something. Remember this. Social media had just getting started.
Yeah.
Now it's all nationalism and stuff, and people do it. But back then, it wasn't common.
And it was like the care, like when we got on the field, whichever everyone was extremely hungover. When we got on the buses, on the double deckers, and I had been on the Marlins parade. I did not know how big of a deal it was going to be when we were landing. First, when we were landing into Midway. All the fans waiting. And then when we were in with all due respect to all the Cubs celebrations, you guys didn't have it like in downtown. Right. We were on LaSalle. That I was like, man, this is a huge deal. And then you guys got to become citizens because of the World Series. Right. Because for another topic, but Ozzy Guillén, and we can do a whole thing on World Series. The third guy that is going to be on Mount Rushmore is the other guy with the other World Series, Alex Cora.
Alex, yeah, just because he win the World Series, but you talk about when you talk about
no, there's one more. There's one more after that. Well, so Alex Cora won the World Series just like you. He does it on his first year. Okay. For anyone that's out there arguing, Alex was an employee of the Astros. Okay. And I shared on Twitter, and if you need a translator, get yourself one to translate the story, which they should, the Puerto Rican channel, where Alex explains the situation very clearly. He's not lying because he talks about the points. And now I know why he's managing on the Red Sox, because he called when that story broke.
He let him know.
He called the CEO, he called everybody and said, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I shared what I knew, but I didn't. They're making me seem like the villain, me and Carlos. So he won the World Series.
And we can see him here with his family. You know, obviously Alex played for a long time as a player. He played more than his brother Joey, which I didn't know. He played for the Red Sox, goes to Boston after winning a World Series with the Astros, wins a World Series with the Red Sox. Obviously Mookie Betts, and they were in LA. They won the World Series. But I don't think anyone could deny. I didn't know that they started off the season 17-2. They were locked in from the first.
So you want to hear something funny about that story? So
Alex is a no-brainer.
So Alex flies into Chicago. They're playing the White Sox, and my daughter had just been born, and Alex was going to meet my daughter for the first time. And I told Sarah, I said, I need to get a picture of my dad and Alex with Adela, because Adela's going to be the first person with me to have a picture
with two managers that won
the
World
only
Series.
two managers to win the World Series.
Maybe it's the only picture.
It's the only picture. So this picture is the only picture since, because they have a picture in Boston, but they never posed together.
No.
And when we were in Puerto Rico, they never took a picture. So this is the only picture of my dad and Alex. And then I told Alex, and this guy got mad at me, and I said, remember today, this was like August, I'm going to have the only picture of the two World Series Latino managers. And he said, you got it. And he was like, you're going to jinx him. I said, nah, nothing's. And then after we walked out of here, saw JD Martinez for the first time. But this is a unique picture for me. It shows the bond. We talk openly with Alex.
You know, and I spoke to Alex. I spoke to the Joy and Alex yesterday because I was watching the Alex interview, which basically, if you guys haven't seen it, it'd be great if they translated it into English, which basically he explains everything that happened. And long story short, he says he was very disappointed with Jeff Luhnow about how he addressed him. He didn't even say his name. He said the bench coach.
Yeah.
And he was very disappointed with basically saying that, how can you guys think that AJ doesn't know what's going on if he's the manager? Everyone,
so this is where everyone knew. This is where I'm heard about.
Everyone knew what was going on. And he also says that he was ashamed of what they did.
Yeah.
He takes full responsibility. He doesn't blame anyone. He said he felt embarrassed that his brother didn't even have to say anything, that his brother was also very ashamed of him because, you know, he was talking about his father's legacy, and that's not the way he's brought up. He felt that he cheated the game, but he takes responsibility for what he did, which everyone should. He doesn't blame anyone, but he didn't like the fact
but he wasn't the manager.
He didn't like the fact that he got singled out.
That's what I'm saying, though. But he wasn't the manager.
And he wasn't the manager. And he also says that I wasn't the one in charge. And he also says that it was very shameful what they did to Carlos because he says because players got immunity, he was a player
and he didn't get it.
And he didn't get it. He got fired. He got pressured. The Mets got pressured. They fired Carlos. And basically, Carlos Beltran never got a chance.
And now he's got. So here's a part that
he probably never will.
And so here's a part about this that I feel that I know the Cora family very well, and they were not mad at Alex. They were just embarrassed, because of the way that Joey is. And just like us, like if Osney would do the same thing, we would be so embarrassed. Like when Osney was playing, I would beg him and say, don't ever do steroids. Why? Just suck. No, I'm just saying just suck. Why? Because if you get busted for it, it's always going to be the Guillén family did this in the game. Like that's why with me and gambling, when I talk about baseball and gambling, I feel weird. Why? Because I don't want, you can associate my name and drinking and partying and doing other, I don't want my name to ever bring a shame to the game of baseball because of what my father's done. And I feel like Alex is a part of that, and that to him, he's gonna have to live with it. But the part that I get mad about this is we come from a family where this is something that all the Latino managers have of being, when you're a Latino guy, of being in charge and being the boss, okay? I know for a fact that the Marlins in 2003, Jack was the manager, but Ozzie ran the clubhouse. He helps Jack. And Ozzie's never said, oh, I won that World Series. You know what I mean? Jack did. He's the manager.
McKeon gets the credit.
McKeon gets the credit, okay? With Ozzie, with the White Sox, anything that happens in that clubhouse from that time to that time, it's on Ozzie and Kenny. Good and bad, okay? Anything that happens in Boston is on Alex and Dombrowski in that time. why in Houston, with the greatest manager of all times, it falls on other people. He never came out and said, my guy. Loonhow did.
That's why
they looked for scapegoats.
They didn't like
so, okay, so if you want to blame Alex, I would be Alex and say, you know what? I'll take the blame. Take away the ring.
And I still have mine.
No, take away and give it to me. Give it to me, and now I'll have 2 World Series rings. Okay, I'll take responsibility for those.
I have a question. And this guy, AJ, he's a hero. When I go to hire somebody as a manager, I want the guy to say, you are the man. They have to respect you. Whatever you say in the crowd, that's it. All of a sudden, that means that guy, the players do whatever they want to do in the crowd.
By the way, and he had been managing for 4 years. We'll he wasn't young. So Brad Austin and him.
Yeah, we'll see how good Mr. Hinch is with the
the last part, the last guy on Mount Rushmore, it's a little controversial. Okay, so my family believed right away, and then I had to do some research. And I'm going to let the one show that everybody thought in the family was, because we have a lot of respect for him. They were teammates. He was a guy that competed against Ozzie. He was the guy that was a manager of the year. When Ozzie came in, he was the guy that we were looking up to kind of be that guy and surpass him, Mr. Tony Pena. Unfortunately, on the list of guys that never got a second chance managing was this guy, Tony Pena. A guy that was up and coming, and he did an amazing job as a bench coach with the Yankees. Never really got another shot. A guy that revolutionized the way that he managed. Him and Ozzie had some great games versus the Royals and the White Sox. He had a really fun team, and then he got let go after a bad start one year, and no one ever gave him another shot. But he was a manager of the year, and that's why you picked him.
Yeah, I picked him because I feel obviously there's Freddie Gonzalez and there's Manny Acta. They've managed, but as far as impact and people that knew Tony had a long playing career. For me, he won Manager of the Year with the Royals. And he's just a very, very exciting guy. And to me, if you ask me, he's on my Mount Rushmore as a manager because of the impact he's had on the game. And I feel like people know him way more than they know Freddie or they know Manny. And those guys are still active coaching.
It's a funny thing about it because when we talk about it, say Freddie, looking at Freddie, we start looking at Freddie's number. He have a great career.
So Freddie Gonzalez is the 3rd winningest Latino manager with 710. Actually managed 1 more year than Ozzie. And I felt ashamed because I was like, I did not know that Freddie had that many wins. So on my list, because obviously you can only have and the 4th guy in Mount Rushmore, anything that you argue is always like you can remove someone or add someone in any position. I got Preston Gomez, who was Cuban, just like Freddie Gonzalez, who was the first guy to basically manage in the big leagues, who, like Ozzie, I thought he had won a lot more games, didn't have a lot of really good record. And then Manny Acta was a guy that I thought at his age, and this is a travesty of baseball.
Manny managed a long
time, but I'm saying like they didn't give him more like opportunity. Like
yeah, but I also look at it this way. I don't look at it as winning a lot of games because that's longevity.
Yeah,
that just goes that you had the opportunity. For me, I look at impact. Yeah. So that's why I went with Tony. But I know that Manny Acta is still active. He's very active on his Twitter.
And I'm hoping that Manny Acta gets another shot.
Yeah, but I know that there's guys out
there. If AJ Hinch is managing the team, Manny Acta should be managing.
By the way, that's my opinion. Manny Acta take Hinch to school.
Oh, any day of the week.
I'm sorry. I know that it's I'm biased, but I don't see how. There's 2 guys that I think.
Okay, if you had
I think
Joey Cora.
I think Joe Espada is going to manage it.
Joey Espada. No, I'm saying,
but I think Joey Cora deserves a shot.
By the way, Joey Cora, Espada. My list on where current managers sit.
I'm saying off resume.
No, that's what I'm saying. And then the manager, another one that we haven't mentioned, is he's going to have a shot now with a really good team. Charlie Montoya with the Blue Jays. He's gonna have a good shot, but he has a good team now. So we're gonna see what he can do. I'm gonna see. There's guys that never got a shot. Joey Cora, which I still hope he does. Espada. There's just a list of guys.
Funny, man,
so when I see the list,
numbers. No. I'm saying nobody was prepared better than
Joey Cora.
But I'm saying not because
no one.
No. He was doing analytics, but he was doing
analytics.
As far as resumes,
20 years
so when I see the list,
coaching a long time, he deserves a shot.
Brad Ausmus managing the big leagues.
There you go.
AJ Hinch.
You don't mean to tell me that Joey Cora doesn't have credentials better than Ricky Renteria?
Oh, God.
Renteria's got 2 jobs.
What's the guy in Minnesota?
Ron Rushmore.
I love the guy in Minnesota.
Rocco,
I love him.
He does not think
Joey Cora's better than Rocco?
He does not count as Latino because he was born in California. But if there was a worst Latino manager ever, my homeboy takes the cake. But
hey, at least he's going to win at something.
So we're going to continue this topic because it's a very good one. At least we have the talent to argue all these great guys. We actually have 2 guys that have won the World Series. And again, Dave Martinez comes from Spanish descent, which I think that's going to be something that's going to happen a lot more often now. Kids that are coming from Latino descent, my family, my kids, people just like me who come to this country and make everything possible because of my parents that came as immigrants. But that's the game of baseball. So sorry that we took a little bit longer today from the Guillén house. Thank you for watching us. Keep the love. Love someone today.
Guys, love each other.
Baseball.
Be good.
Get
GameStop or AMC if you can.